Eyup Cock, Championship predictions for Friday. Straight in there, no messing. Derby versus Luton, first one. Huge, with a capital. It's 21st versus 23rd. This is end for Luton if they're losing it. Let's be serious. Derby, I feel like they can afford to maybe draw this game. Don't think they'll lose it, but regardless of what I think, if Luton lose this game, it's over. It is over. They cannot afford to lose this game. If they do, the gap goes to at least 5 points to get out, and there's only 3 games left. This is it. This is the chance. Derby, I think if they lose this game, then it's not end at world anyway. Even if they draw and they drop points, I don't think it's end at world. They've got West Brom away coming up afterwards, which is still an hard game. But then they've got Hull away and Stoke at home as last two anyway. So they've still got it. They've still got a firm grip on it, even if they do drop points here. I don't think they'll lose. I feel like Derby are very difficult to beat at home, especially since Eustace has come in. They've won 3 out of the last 4 and drawn with Burnley. They bet Blackburn, who are in poor form. They bet Coventry, who are in very good form. Bet Preston, a mid-table side. They drew with Burnley. They've took points off a variety of different levelled squads recently. Luton away have turned it around a lot. They've won 2 out of the last 3 as well. They bet Cardiff, they bet Hull, they drew with Stoke. So against bottom-feeding sides like Derby at minute, Luton have actually been quite good. It'll be a very good game, this. I will be watching this in pool if they've got it on. Instinctively, I think it'll be a draw. And I think it'll be like a late equaliser from either side. Because, you know what I could see? I could see Derby winning fairly early doors and then Luton chucking loads and loads at it. And similar like they were doing with Stoke. And then end up nicking a late one. I think it'll be a one apiece, this Derby and Luton. Such an important game, though, to get us going. That it's business end, innit? Blackburn and Millwall. This is the chance. Come on, Millwall. This is it. Coventry dropped points with Hull on Monday as well. So Millwall at minute 3 points off. Come on, this is the one, Millwall. 4 wins out of the last 5. They bet Portsmouth, Sheffield United and Middlesbrough in the last 3 games. Unfortunate timing that Blackburn have just won away at Luton and got a point off Wednesday before that because they were just on an insane starburst streak, weren't they? Just red. And as long as I've been watching football and specifically watching Barnsley and liking Millwall, very similar clubs, I know exactly what's going to come here, and Millwall are probably going to lose. 100% I want Millwall to win. 100%. I think Millwall should win and could win. And from a defensive point of view, should concede very, very few goals, if any. I expect a 1-0 either side here. But just with how football works and how this world works, and I'm convinced it's out to get me, I think Blackburn will win this 1-0. I'm trying to wage my bets a bit here. Because I want Millwall to win. I think Millwall should win. But I'm just going to prepare myself for worst and give Blackburn a 1-0 win. Like that is the logic I'm going for. It's not a game that I would bet on at all, and I'm not confident regardless of result here. Whatever I say, I'm not going to be confident with it. But I could just see Blackburn winning this. I really hope I'm wrong, and I don't want to jinx it. That's why I'm saying it. I'm going Blackburn 1-0. Please let me be wrong. Bristol City and Sunderland. In all likelihood, this could be another fixture in 3 weeks' time. This could be 4th, 5th in playoffs easily. It is looking that way. Sunderland are cert for 4th anyway, and Bristol City, they're point in front of Coventry in 5th. So if they win this game, they're looking good for it anyway. Sunderland away form, very iffy. Bristol City home form, very good. And I do feel like, I don't know if, I wish I kept a tab on this and like certain teams that are good with and stuff like that. I must get the majority of Bristol City's results right. I must do. And I think the momentum and probably the euphoria and joy from atmosphere's point of view and fans and everything at Bristol City. Sunderland, I mean, Sunderland were surely expected to finish this high up anyway, and the fans have known that they're going to be in for like months now. Bristol City, I don't think expected to do this. They've always been on edge and not getting in there. I think atmosphere will be absolutely nuts, and it's a big chance to cement your in here if they do win. And I think they will. I think Bristol City win this 2-1. I'm going to keep an eye on this result, though, more than other ones, because I want to see what Sunderland are like against a very good team that they could potentially be playing in a couple of weeks again. I am curious with this result, and mainly how they play. Not so much bothered about the result from a Sunderland point of view. I'm just bothered how they actually set up and play, or if they dominate, or if they get absolutely slapped start to finish. Yo! Subscribe, please. Would help me out a lot. Cov West Brom. There's some great games on here. Oh my God. 3 out of these first 4 games has been like top enders or relegation battle. Coventry West Brom. This is 6th versus 7th. Coventry, yeah, they dropped points to Hull on Monday, which is definitely points drop because Hull at their place are crap. West Brom off back a 2-1 win at home to Watford. But the one thing that, like, I've been saying it for a long time this year, but no one's really picked up on how bad West Brom's away form is. It's terrible. If I told you the last away win were in November, how mad's that? They won the first 3 away games in a row, which were QPR, Stoke and Portsmouth. Since then, they've won once. That's it. Their away form is dreadful, West Brom's. A lot of low-scoring, edgy games. Coventry fit that bill anyway. There's a much more, like, higher level. There's a lot of, like, 3-2s and 3-1s, and, like, there's much more of them, whereas West Brom's, like, 1-0s, 2-1s, like, little baby scores. But I do back Coventry here. Definitely. Like I said, I think West Brom have thrown it away a little bit. I think it's getting away from them too much. They're not scoring enough. They're not offering enough going forward. Coventry defensively aren't good anyway, to be honest with you, but they offer a lot going forward as well. I do think it'll narrow itself out a little bit to a point that it'll be an edgy game still, but I think Coventry will win this 2-1. It's going to be record attendance, I think, at this place, which, you know, you're doing well. It's going to happen, innit? Chance to, again, have a real firm grip on playoffs if they win this, but I'm going to go 2-1 Cov. Plymouth can't go down here. And I think they're unfortunate with the timing of the fixtures, Plymouth, to be honest, because the last 4 are nuts. They're so hard. Middlesbrough are crap against anything half decent. Like, they've lost against Leeds 1-0, then they lost against Millwall 1-0. But against poor sides recently, in the last, like, couple of months, Stoke, Derby, QPR, Oxford, Blackburn, all wins. So I think that'll be the same thing here. I do think Middlesbrough will win this. Still, I think Carrick is failing as a manager here, and I do think, honestly, if they don't get in there, Middlesbrough, then they should just cut ties with him at the end of the season. Like, a couple of years ago, Carrick looked like the hot shit, didn't it? It looked like the glorious manager that everybody wanted. Some absolute genius. Oh my God, this project that Middlesbrough have got going on. But it's just failure after failure every year with him. I do think they'll win this, and probably, like, Middlesbrough will end up losing on last day or something. They'll end up being able to not get in on last day. But I think they'll win this. You know, like Finners has his double for goals and assists. Plymouth is ex-club. Could see him doing something, to be honest. I do think Plymouth score because they put 2 past Sheffield United. And Hardy's, like, he's quite a busy striker. I do quite like him, Hardy. So I could see him doing something. I could see Plymouth scoring. But defensively, they're horrendous. And I don't think it'll be an absolute slaughter, even though this is, like, 8th versus last. I think it'll be 2-1 Middlesbrough. Closer than you probably imagine, but Middlesbrough against poor sides are good. Norwich Pompey. This is very odd. Norwich, I'm not bothered what anybody says to me about, like, you know, the thing I've said for the last few weeks now, taking foot off gas. Norwich, absolute prime example of the such. Players on humongous wages. Norwich's wage bill must be like 3rd or 4th highest easily. Massive wages and massive underachievers. The defenders at this club are a disgrace, honestly. They're absolutely shite. Portsmouth, you know, they've actually got something to play for still. Their away form is, again, absolutely horrendous. If this stat right, Portsmouth in the last 13 away games have won once and lost all the other 12. They are shocking away from home. And Norwich, even though they've got nothing to play for here, I still think will win. I don't know how, from a psychological standpoint, Portsmouth can turn that around. I feel like they need season to end and go for a fresh start with away form next year, because they've been absolutely doggers all year. I do think they'll score, as always. I always back Portsmouth for a goal. And especially against that shit Norwich defence. I'll probably give Portsmouth 2. I think it could be a good big score of this. Probably a good game because Norwich have got no pressure on them. They're just not asked at this point. I'll go with like a 3-2 Norwich. I think it'll be a good game, that, from a neutral. Preston QPR, 2 mid-table sides. Can't go down, can't go up. It's a nothing game. Both loads and loads of draws this year as well. They've got 14 and 19 draws respectively. Who cares? 0-0. Stoke Wendy. This is quite a important game from Stoke's perspective, because the home form Stoke, it's iffy. They don't lose loads of games, but it is quite iffy. They're not like really good at home like Portsmouth are, for example, for one of the bottom sides, especially against the Wednesday side, who, for all they've done wrong in this world, away from home they are actually very good. That 5th best away side in division. But again, to go back in Middlesbrough up here, in the last 4 games they've had Watford, Blackburn, QPR and Luton. None of them are really that good, and they've got 2 draws and 2 wins off them. So I do think Wednesday score again, because they've got like players that can just sort of make stuff happen off cuff if they wanted to, like Gassama and Windass. They're structured quite well. Stoke offer very little going forward as well, and that has been a problem all year, personally, from what I've seen and what I keep saying with this. Tough game. I think, well, obviously Wednesday don't care what happens, do they? They're absolutely horrendous at home, and the recent results have been shit. It's just been like draw, loss for a while with Wednesday. Stoke have still got something to play for. Mathematically not safe yet. They are 5 points clear at Cardiff, and a win here would probably seal it. But I don't think they'll get it. Earlier in the season, Wednesday bet these 2-0. I don't think it'll be the same again. I will go with a Desi. I'm going to have a 2 apiece. A Desmond 2-2 for Stoke and Wendy. Still don't think that's the worst point ever, though, for Stoke, because other teams around them are definitely going to drop points this weekend. Swansea, no. This, I'll tell you what, this bottom like 5 or 6 is going to really cramp up this weekend, I'm telling you. Hull notoriously very good away in this division, and absolutely horrendous at home. Similar to Wednesday, 8th best away side in division, but worst at home. Hull. But Swansea, the last couple of weeks, obviously, again, they've got no to play for. They're in 12th, it's season's over. But the last 3 games, they bet Derby 1-0, they bet Plymouth 3-0, and Sunderland away 1-0. They're looking very solid. They are. Since that Williams, they've looked quite nice, Swansea. I'm impressed with them. Unfortunately, that some of like the contracts are coming to an end and some of the better players have been touted elsewhere. So it's just like it's going to be another rebuild. The never-ending rebuild with a club like Swansea. But I do fancy them here. I honestly do. Hull, going forward, they've not done a great deal, have they? But defensively, they're not the worst side ever, and that's what Ruben Sellers has instilled a lot since he's come in. Defensively, quite solid. If you score, great. A bit of a bonus, really, scoring a goal wheel. But defensively, they're quite good. Swansea recently have been same. They're well structured quite well. They're not pissing about with as much round back. They're not getting as many mistakes away from defence or keeper. 1-0 Swansea. Again, I feel like Hull have definitely got something to play for, and they'll look at this as a big chance to pull themselves away a little bit. But I don't think they will. I think Swansea have been really good recently. I'll give them 1-0. Watford and Burnley. I mean, Watford's season's done. Again, so many of these teams are just done, aren't they? Like, to a point where who cares? You're just turning up. It's just a bit of a laugh at this point, a stroll. Unless you start playing young and some of these managers with teams that have got no to play for. Unless a Watford plays some young lads that are like, this is my chance. I'm gonna put a foot down for next year. I'm getting in there. I feel like if you're just putting all your season pros out that know like, oh, I'm just gonna be here next year anyway. Who cares what happens? I'm on loads of I don't care what happens. I'm just here to stroll about, pick a wage up and go home. Burnley going for title. Want to pull away massively. From Sheffield United, because obviously the game after this on Monday is Burnley Sheffield United. Watch along, by the way, on here live. 5:20 Monday, I will be here. So if they maintain that 5-point gap anyway, they can afford to lose to Sheffield United and it not mean that much. I think Burnley are going to come here and win. I really do. Again, a lot of the games are really tight. They're not like smashing anybody. They bet Luton and Wednesday quite heavily. But that were like a fair bit ago now, like a few games ago now, that is. And Watford, even though they've got nothing to do, last couple of games, their own form's picked up again after losing like 1 million on bounce. Burnley 3 wins out last 4 away, drew with Derby. But they bet Coventry, and they bet Swansea, and they bet Cardiff. 2-1 Burnley. It's nailed on in it. 2-1. Boring scoreline, but it's 2-1. Sheffield United Cardiff. This is a very, very important game for both ends of the table. If Wilder can get them up for this, then they should win. Realistically, Sheffield United should win this game. The squads are chalk and cheese. Sheffield United, obviously, there's a 20-19 place gap between these two sides for a reason. But Sheffield United's players look defeated. They look like they know it's over. And it's more a case of, do I think Wilder can get them up for this? They've lost 3 games in a row against, like, varying opposition. Oxford and Plymouth are both shit. Millwall, at least, structured quite well. And are a proper side. You know what I mean? So they lost that one. But Wilder's been more focused on mourning and trying to like half-ass scrap people that get fanny, then I think he's lost his head a bit. I do think he's lost them. I think they're down. I think players are gone. Cardiff lost 1-0 to Stoke though. So again, if they're players, this is such a downing dumpster game. They've both got to get fired up. It's just who can do it more. I don't know what I think. This is another very, very tough game to call. It's on at A5 again as well. Start playing it mental a little bit. Sheffield United pressure being on telly and all that. Oh, it's a very hard game to call. Another one I definitely would not bet on. 1-0 Cardiff. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I feel like Cardiff are going to be up for it more than these are. I really do. These Cardiff players are fighting for the wage at the end of the day. Sheffield United, A for this team's gone. Regardless of what happens, A for this team is gone at the end of this year if they don't go up. So I think if it's down to who wants it more, I think Cardiff do, based on last performances I've seen for Sheffield United. These games this weekend, this is mint. Oxford Leeds on at 8 o'clock to see it out. Oh my God. Oxford, to be fair, done 48 points. You need like another 3 at a push to be safe, probably. Leeds, again, this is a huge, huge chance. If they win this, it's more or less done. I think they need about 7 points to actually confirm it anyway. And that's if Burnley and Sheffield United win all their other games and probably draw with each other. Leeds need very, very little to get it off at line. They'll have also watched Sheffield United at R5. So regardless of like result there's going to be a little bit of pressure on Leeds here. Especially against like a Gary Rowett side with Oxford. scrappy manager. It's going to be horrible. This is not going to be a fun game to watch. It won't surprise me if Oxford ain't dried pitch all week and if they just make it like horrible so that they can just lump it up. Leeds can't play football. I think they will resort to old school tactics if Gary Rowett's got out to say about it. Even if they bring out the Dark March after himself, even if Voldemort sat in dugout with Oxford and Gary Rowett, I still think that Leeds win this game. I don't think there's anything anybody can do. Nobody can tap into any sort of juju at all to make them stay down. Leeds are going to win this league, and it won't be long till they've done it. I will say 2-1 to Leeds to see championship fixtures out for Friday. And that's that, boys. I hope I'm wrong with some of these. I hope Leeds lose. I hope Millwall win. I hope Sheffield United win, to be fair, so that there's a slight chance that Leeds could still bottle it, but I don't think they will. I think that's it. I think we're approaching the end really quickly. That's all. Thank you for watching. Love you all, kids. Thank you for watching. I'll see you Saturday with an EFL review. Goodbye.
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying is a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.